Truelove from Truelove Quilts for You, but you guys already know that. I am going to be answering some questions today. I'm in my sewing room, but I'm not sewing. I have some chores to do, but I also had videoed, I had videoed Maxwell on his quad, and I videoed a little, one of my little stories in my front room about some of my artwork that I put up. So I'm going to be putting them on the back of this video. But this is mostly my question and answer. You guys asked questions and I'm answering. One of the first questions was, why am I yelling? Am I yelling? I have a very loud voice, and my camera's way over there, and I don't have an external mic or anything. And sometimes I video closer, as you know, but I'm feeling ugly and my face is like, so I'm like, I'm okay back here. So please excuse me if I'm yelling. You turn the volume down. So some of my questions. The first one is, do I sell my quilts? Yes, I did. I did. Operative word. I did sell my quilts. I have an Etsy shop, which I think there's only about 6 quilts, and those quilts are right there, right here. When I went to move, I downsized, and we lost a storage area where I had hung all my quilts beautifully, ready for sale. My inventory. I had a room, 2 rooms, I should say, this size, with my inventory, my travel pillows and my handbags and my all my tote bags and all of my pillows and my cushions and all of my quilts, which take up a lot of space. Well, when we went to move, we packed them all up. I believe one of the videos shows us packing them up into space bags, sucking all the air out of them, and most of them are in my friend Jen's attic to this day. The pandemic came. We were going to try to sort out a storage area to sell my quilts again in my Etsy shop. Didn't happen. So yes, I did sell my quilts. You can go look at my shop, and I believe you can see all of the quilts that over the last 3 or 4 years I have sold. Over 300 quilts. So yeah, I did sell my quilts. I did. I may start doing it again if I get my head wrap my head around it. How did I get into quilting? That's funny because, again, I think I explained this in one of my previous videos. I didn't even like quilts. I wasn't a quilty person, i.e. like log cabiny, homespunny looking things. But in 2014 or 2013, for some reason, there was a local exposition center. Is that the word, exposition? An exposition center? Expo center. Anyway, like a convention hall that had quilt show. And I'm thinking, I like the idea of a quilt. I'd never had quilts. I had sewn all my life. Anyway, long story short, I went in and there was an exhibit of quilts from people commemorating 9/11. And oh my word, these quilts, they just struck at my heart. Poignant and touching and sad works of art that people with their angst poured into these quilts. And I was so impressed with the artistry of quilt making that I just started making quilts. I went and got a couple books, never made a quilt in my life, garment sewed for the last 50 odd years, made all my clothes. That was another question. Do I make my clothes? I did make all my clothes. None of my boys' clothes really, but our daughter's clothes, all of her frilly dresses, yes. I was a garment sewer. Now I find I can buy clothes cheaper at discount shops and Walmart and Ross and TJ Maxx. That's where I get all my clothes. Dress Barn I used to, Kohl's. But yeah, I used to garment sew, so I really started quilting about 15 years ago. That's how I got into it. I was just moved by the fabulous masterpieces that people could make. Are my feet cold? No, they're not. I don't usually, well, I have a pair of really scruffy slippers, but that was another question. Do my feet get cold? I didn't feel like putting my slippers on. Do I label my quilts? Yes, I do. Because I had a business, I had a pre-printed label for my email and then my business name. It was a pre-printed label that I would put on, that I would sew on the bottom. If I make a quilt for somebody, I make a hand-done label, like in the bottom corner. So yes, I do label my quilts. Oh, do I cut my binding when I do a binding, because that was my last video, my binding. Do I cut my binding on the bias? No, I don't. No, I don't. If you can watch me when any of my binding videos, I cut my binding straight of grain, the width of the fabric, and then I attached all of the binding strips together. Why do I do that? I have found on just my curved corners, I don't need a bias binding. Having said that, somebody did ask, I believe it was Susan, asked if I made a scalloped edged quilt. Yes, I would absolutely do a bias binding, which does take a lot more fabric than a straight grain binding. I have made previously, again, when I began to sew and I was very, very ambitious, my quilting has gotten a lot simpler because I was very ambitious 15 years ago. I did paper piecing and all sorts of difficult things, which I guess I suppose I was trying to hone a skill. And I think I do things easier now. I'm getting older. I just want to do things easier. That's why I'm like a beginner's quilting channel. This is easy to do. But I had done a scalloped quilt. You obviously need to have bias binding for that, and I had to hand stitch the binding on the back. So, needless to say, oh, what's that? Oh, needless to say, I don't do a lot of bias binding. Have I made a quilt for everybody in my family? Yes, I have. Have I made them? I was going through this. Luke, wife, 5 children. Justin, wife, 4 children. And I thought, I think I made them for all of our children, yes. Some of our daughter-in-laws, yes. 16 grandchildren. Oh, yes, 16 grandchildren. Over the years, yes, I have. And a couple of them. Several of them. Oh, what size? Oh, but just excuse me. Oh, you must excuse me. I went to get one because I meant to measure it. What size, when I do use my comic book boards for folding my fabric, do I use? And this one is about the 10.5 by 7.5, I believe. That was the size comic book board I use when I fold my fabrics. Oh, and again, my rotary cutter, does my blade dull from my Fiskars ruler? I said I've had my Fiskars for many, many years. I've never changed the blade. Maybe, I don't know what it is, but I have not changed the blade. My blade doesn't dull. Do my blades dull when I'm using a regular rotary cutter? Yes, they do. I have a supply. Not a lot, though. I must say, these are fabulous. I don't change my blades an awfully lot. I don't know. Maybe I should, because sometimes I get those little nicks there. What size was my Dresden plate quilt, which is now on our spare bedroom bed? It looks so pretty. 18 inches. The blocks were 18 inches. Oh, my rickrack quilt. Will I be doing a tutorial? Not necessarily. I do like my rickrack, as you saw in that one quilt, and I've used rickrack in other quilts. I'm not going to be doing that quilt, but maybe I'll do a panel. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what you want. Like, I don't make the same quilt twice. Oh, and that's another thing. I don't make the same quilt twice. Well, I was having a difficult time the last few months coming up with something to film, right? Because of pandemic brain. And I didn't feel like quilting. I didn't feel like sewing. Ugh. I'm not suffering from depression, but man, it's been difficult. It's been difficult, and I just don't find the impetus to sew. As you know, you've been following this little journey of mine, as well as yours, you know? I know we're all in the same boat, and it's sort of sinking, right? We're trying to get our paddles out. So I'm quilting, but making the same quilt twice. I was saying to my husband, my brain is fried. I don't have any quilting, impetus. The mojo is gone. And he said, why don't you go back to the first few quilts you've made? And I'm thinking, why would I do that? We had just watched on Amazon Prime Video or Amazon Prime Television a show where they had, what was it called? My Favorite Dishes or something like that. 20 of the finest chefs in the world come into the studio, into a kitchen, and make their 4 favorite classic dishes. Some of these chefs hadn't revisited the dishes for 20 years. And it was what they made when they first opened the restaurant, or their mother made, da-da-da-da-da. And my husband and I were watching that film, and he says, that's what you should do. You should go back to your beginning quilts, what you made. He said, you're not making the same quilt twice, Jean. You're not doing that. He says, but that you were successful in that, so why don't you do a tutorial on that? So I may or may not do that. Good idea. My sashing, is there a formula for your sashing and block size? I think there is in quilting books that know what they're talking about. I just do it by the eye. Like my large block, I did a 18-inch block, I only did a 2-inch sashing. That looked good to me. But would I make a sashing, like if I had a 6-inch block, would I do a 2-inch sashing? Probably not. Probably not. I probably wouldn't do that. So I'm ever so sorry, I don't know if there's a formula for that. Oh, did I quilt in the UK? No, I didn't. I was busy having children. I had 6 children in 7 years, so I didn't have any time for quilting. And are the patterns familiar? I don't know that. I'm ever so sorry. I don't know that. I've not been back to England for 30 years now. Oh, and this was a sweet one. Am I losing weight? No, I'm not. I'm gaining weight. I'm gaining weight. This pandemic has been terrible for me. I try to wear things that are fairly slimming, but I'm heavy. I'm the heaviest I've ever been. And I should care. I should care. But I just go up and dress size. But thank you so much if I look that way. Another one was, do I have a tutorial for this hexy quilt that I've made? I have a tutorial how I made the hexies, and I made a small little table topper here, but you can just keep adding to it. Hexies are like crazy because you never know when to stop, right? I'm thinking, a true needle turn hexie, they just grow and grow and grow because there's no stop to it. It's funny that. So there are some of my questions that you guys answered. You must forgive me if I forgot some. Our building, our bridge building, you wanted to know what's going on? That's fine. Woken up at 7 in the morning by the construction. But I don't know what I'm going to do. It's just a few days into it. In the daytime, it's okay. There's a barricade, there's a sign, road closed, bridge out, right? Dozens and dozens and dozens of people turning around in our driveway. They come to a barricade, which is absolutely, the barricade you can get through the road for us, but the barricade that you can't go anywhere is right at the beginning of the bridge, right at the end of our driveway, right there. We have a pull-through driveway. We have a U-shaped driveway.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
So some are smart enough that they go up to that part of our driveway and they turn around because they see the sign way down there. It's a big driveway. And the barricade is right at the end of it, so we can get out both ends of our driveway. But of a nighttime, of an evening time, I didn't realize maybe this road is a little bit busier because the cars that come to the barricade can't go any further. There's a massive barricade, massive pieces of equipment, And then they pull into our driveway. Well, it's dark. We live in the country. There's no street lights or anything. And there's ditches on either side. Not ditches, but like scrub and grass and sort of woods on either side. I'm thinking we're gonna find a car down there, right? So, but the lights shine right into our front window. I'm like, it's not quiet, and all of these stupid cars. I laughed because my husband said that's a good idea. Somebody said, why don't you put a sign up? Truelove quilts for sale. Get my quilts out. And I would rather have a sign like, what part of the bridge out, road closed, do you not understand, folks? But I wouldn't do that. I'm trying to be kind, trying to find joy. So, trying to find joy in this situation. These people. Anyway, that's my little thing. I just have to like, okay. Maybe they'll get it after a while. Hopefully it's just like local people or commuter people who think, oh, well, I don't think that bridge is closed. And they'll finally get it because the detour is not too bad. It's not, they're trying to get out to that road. So you have to go out there and then out to there. So it's not too bad. So hopefully it will die down. But we've had, seriously, Ian came, excuse me, Ian came home from work and he's sitting there and we don't have blinds. We have blinds, but I hadn't pulled them down. He said, what? Oh, somebody's coming in the driveway. I said, no, nah. And he's like, oh, someone's coming in. I'm like, nah. They're just turning around. So anyway, that's that. So right now, I'm waffling on. I hope you're having a good day. I have some chores to do, and I'm just going to put up a picture of a video of Maxwell on his quad. He's doing great. He talks about getting an Xbox, and that was a couple weeks ago when I filmed it, or however long ago. He hasn't gotten one. They are not to be had, and it was interesting because on a Facebook site there was somebody selling one for $1,800, and boy, you know, he got slammed. And it's like supply and demand and supply. The supply is low. There's you can't get these Xbox X or S or something like that. And Maxwell was trying, and of course he didn't get one. And you know, people are out there, and I suppose if like somebody wants it for a present, they're going to pay that much money. But they'll be available in the springtime. So Maxwell now understands that. He was discouraged, and you can see him like he was really thinking about his Xbox, but he didn't get it. But he is enjoying his quad. It's wonderful. He has wheels. He's getting out energy. It's really lovely. And then again at the end, a little tour of my front room if you're interested. So anyway, that's my day. I hope you're all keeping well and healthy and safe and sane. And we're trying to just day by day finding some kind of joy. I found joy because I haven't seen anybody turn around in my driveway for the last 10 minutes. All right, folks, have a good one. Thanks again. Love from the Trueloves. See ya. Bye. There goes Maxwell. There goes Maxwell. He's really enjoying his quad. Trying to break some trails in the woods here. As you can see, most of the trees have dumped their leaves, and he's exploring back there. it's super. And there he goes again. He's there somewhere. He's getting good. he's getting real good. Dear boy. Good job. Good job.
Better?
Yeah. So Maxwell just came in from riding his quad.
Hello.
Oh, wait a second. Is that my eggnog?
It is your eggnog.
Why are you drinking my eggnog?
Oh, I'll buy you another.
Oh, please buy me another one. I like eggnog. It's a special treat. How much have you drunk so far? Maxwell, the whole thing.
So pretty much you haven't even touched this yet.
I haven't touched it, and you have touched half the thing. Anyway, you like eggnog. So you've just come in riding your quad. I videoed you. What have you learned? What have you learned about riding your quad? Anything? People want to know. One of the last videos was you getting it.
Gloves.
You need gloves.
Yeah, that's not a want, that's a need.
That's a need. You wear your helmet at all times?
I've just been riding through just a lot of debris and brush, and my hands have been snagged on thorns.
Yeah.
My hand's not hurt at all, but it does hurt.
Let me see your hand.
There's all these little...
Yeah. Well, you have winter gloves. Why can't you?
I have winter gloves, but they'll like pierce.
They pierce. What kind of gloves do you need?
Like overkill racing glove.
A racing glove. What in the world are you making? What are you making here?
Sausage patties.
Oh. Well, that's good. You're making sausage patties.
I don't even know when to put them.
Okay, well, you put a bit of oil in there. Okay, just check the bottom to see if they're cooked.
We're not a cooking channel.
No, I know we're not a cooking channel, but I want you to learn to... Well, does that look done to you?
I don't know.
Well, when you go to a restaurant or something, or when Mom cooks sausages, is that done?
I think it's done.
Yeah, flip them. They look done to me.
We're not making a second channel, so it's cooking.
It's a cooking
cooking.
cooking with Maxwell. Oh, that's pretty good, Maxwell.
Hey, I actually make that your name.
Cooking. We'll make a channel, Cooking with Maxwell.
Are you actually gonna do that though?
Am I going to do that? No, people want to hear your experience with your quad. That's what people want to hear.
Experience with my quad so far.
So far, has it been awesome? I think you better stick to your quad. You can operate a 1,000-pound vehicle, but you can't turn over a sausage.
Is that only 3,000 or is it 1,000?
No, it's about 1,000 pounds. Yeah, 3,000 pound. Yeah, that's a bullet that you'd be driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've talked about the responsibilities.
Okay, yes. And don't panic. And don't go up things what you're not really supposed to go up, but you can go up.
Yeah. Because why? Because you're not yet experienced. Yeah. So you have to be very, very careful. Your brothers are older and are more experienced, and even have more powerful quads than you, don't they?
Jordan has a powerful one and the same one as I do.
Yeah, he has but he just bought an even more powerful one. So you have to get used to driving a quad, right? And also paying for your quad, right?
Yes, and I'm responsible. And I haven't been getting my hands on something.
On what? What did you need to get your hands on?
An Xbox Series X.
Oh, you got a quad. You're still on about your Xbox? Yeah, I know. You had earned your money.
I've earned my
and tell
money.
the folks what happened.
Twice.
Oh.
In my car, gone.
Yeah, because...
Both were in bad areas.
Yeah.
I was in bad ares. Like,
what, for the internet?
yeah.
Or what? Yeah,
Internet.
yeah. Because you had them in your cart.
So me and Jump here have planned. If he gets it, it will be mine. If I get it, it's mine.
Right.
You understand?
So
that?
he's trying to get one for you also.
Yes.
Because you've been looking for this game console, which we talked about.
Just if you hear like frustration at like 9 o'clock on Wednesday. You'll probably know why.
Because it's gone again. And so it's been put in your cart. I don't understand. So it's sold out after you put it in your cart?
It was in my cart.
Yeah.
I went to place order. If I was in a good area, I would have had it.
Oh, no. Oh, that's what happened. Oh, I think your sausages are burning. Turn them over and see.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm not a cook here.
I know, but turn them over and see. What if Mommy's not here and you have to cook? Tell me if that's cooked.
I don't know. Is that cooked?
Don't hold it up in the air. Maxwell, look. Just tell me if it's cooked or not.
I guess it's cooked.
I don't think it's cooked enough. Actually, just a few more minutes. Okay. So anyway, that's that. You're learning. You're learning to be responsible.
I'm very responsible.
You're very responsible. Why did you roll your eyes?
Money. I'm really responsible.
You're getting there. You're getting there. And you're going to be very responsible with your quad, right?
I've been responsible so far.
So far, you think?
Yes. So far.
So far. Good. Good morning, everybody. My YouTube family. In my living room, just a few of you wanted to have a little tour of our house, our new house. I've done this before, but if you're new, we moved here almost a year ago. This is my front room. People were like, "Oh, can we see your house?" Because our other house had a lot of stuff in it, if you remember. I know I'm shooting into the light here, but that's my plant window. It's a pretty window. I like it. Nice big bay window, which I have full of stuff. And then you can't really see, but I have some old-fashioned pictures. There you go. Family pictures. My grandparents and my in-laws and uncles, and that's that. We have a pretty view out our front window. My lovely plants. Let's see if it gets any later. I like the color red, as you can see. These, as I said, I think I have already done a video on some of my artwork here. Before I started quilting, about 15 years ago, I was sewing and doing lots and lots of embroidery when our babies were little. These are some of the things. This is a needle point that I did. Did most of these in England when we lived in England. Back in the early 80s and the 90s. These were popular. Crewel work. I'm sure some of you who've done crewel work will remember these images. Crewel work is like an embroidery with a yarn. I had many walls in my old house, our old house. Don't have many walls, so I had to sort of choose the paintings and the pictures. Basically, this one wall. I mean, I do have other walls, but not like I did in the old house. There's another embroidery. And my lovely little tiger. An embroidery. That's a needle point. That actually the glass got broken, but I quite like it because you can really see the work. It's called the shepherdess. Some of these are old masters done in needle points. I quite like that one. That was one of my favorites. And again, these matching portraits. I quite like these images. Old world images. Very Victorian. My ideal would be to have a beautiful Victorian home with a large porch. You know, like burgundies and lots of clutter. I like lots of clutter. There's another one. There's another famous painting That's I don't, oh, who is that by? I forget who that's by, the little girls, but there's actually, this is just a part of the actual master. There's a woman, there's the mother sitting to the left with a Saint Bernard dog. And again, another needle point that I did up there. Oh, this is a print painting. This has a story behind it, this beautiful girl. Let me just come around here. And you like my stories? Let me just come around here. This is my story. This is our story of this picture here of our beautiful girl. When my husband and I were first married, we had gone to Sorrento, Italy, and for sort of a honeymoon with our 9-month-old first son. And we were walking around on a Saturday at a Sorrento art fair, local market fair. And there was all of these local artists and artisans and displaying their wares. Well, my husband and I, literally, we walked around the corner of the little plaza there. And we both stopped dead in our tracks in front of this tent, a little marquee. There was a gentleman selling his paintings, and there was a painting of two lovely little children, looked Italian little children, dark-haired children, and the one girl had a beautiful red cloak. They were about a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, looked like. Beautiful little children painting on an easel. And my husband and I were just like, oh, that is so beautiful. Both of us took our breath away, this painting of these little children. Well, I said, oh, please, please, we're not purveyors of fine art whatsoever. But I said that painting spoke to both of us. And I said, oh, please. So my husband said, oh, absolutely, I'm going to buy it. And because it was just so mesmerizing and fabulous. Well, he went over, my husband speaks Italian. He started speaking to the artist who actually painted it and asking how much it was. And the artist is like, oh, no, basically saying, no, that's not for sale. And my husband says, no, well, and come into my stall. I have so many other paintings. And my husband and I'm like, I don't want any other paintings. I want that painting of the girl with the beautiful eyes and the red cloak and the little boy. I said, please. And my husband tried to convince him, please, may we buy that picture? No, you can't buy that picture. Come see my other pictures. And it got to the point where, like, well, it was Paramount right out front on an easel, and he was motioning us to go into his stall. We went in, and there was nothing really. They were very pretty pictures, but nothing that grabbed us. And here, his painting was of his two children. And that made so much sense. That made so much sense that he would not want to sell it. But he shouldn't really have had it outside because we were so disappointed. My husband and I were like, oh, no wonder it was painted with love, every stroke. And it just jumped off of the canvas. Well, we went away disappointed. Fast forward 30 years, 35 years. And I was out actually with a bunch of friends in a car group doing our ministry work on a Saturday, and we had passed by a yard sale in this country, like a car boot type of thing in England they're called, and I spotted her leaning against a tree, and I literally said, oh, stop the car, and my friends and me stopped the car, and I said, oh my word, there's my little girl. She's all grown up with her lovely little red dress. So, it's quite a large painting for $20. $20. I said, oh, I'm having that. We had a bit of a time getting it in the car. I brought it home and didn't Ian say, oh, that's our little girl. She's all grown up. So that painting has had pride of place in our home and our older home now, and our new home here. She just speaks to us. She came home with us. She's all grown up. So anyway, silly little story. Have a lovely day, folks. See See you later.